Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you already know, this is your U.S. General 5-drawer tool cart with side tray and deep compartment. Today is Monday, as you can see. We now back over at the storage unit, getting back to it, getting busy as always. All right. In today's segment video is going to be a follow-up from yesterday's video. All right. For the younger technicians looking to get into the trades of automotive service repair. All right. In today's segment video, what we're going to take a look at is some specialty sockets. All right. But I ain't going to hold you up too much more longer in the introductory of things. But as I always state, as usual, I always keep my signature lingering somewhere in the background. My Dunkin' Donuts coffee. You already know. Okay. So pretty much I'm about to get some contents out to the top of the tool cart and we're going to dive right in. So walk with me. Let's get it. All right. Unfortunately, if you missed yesterday's video, I will leave that video in the link in the description of this video later on sometime when I upload things. All right. But in today's video, what we're going to take a look at, okay, is some specialty sockets. Yesterday, I was demonstrating and showing a different assortment and different lines of metric equipment. Okay. In this particular video, there's just a few items that wasn't listed in yesterday's video, but I didn't really go that hard to explain, as far as them being specialty sockets technically compared to your regular normal standard sockets that you're normally used to. Okay, this information is going to be for those younger technicians coming into the field or just any individual, looking to get an understanding to what some of the equipment and some of the tools are. All right, just in case you're unfamiliar and you technically do not have a mechanical background. All right, so I am going to go through a list of quite a few things, just as well as you see at the top of the tool cart, just as well as I'll go into my tool cart to get out quite a few other things once I run through the listing line and give you a little visual to what is at the top of the tool cart. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start over here first. All right. And what you're looking at is a 1/4-inch snap-on flip socket set, okay, which comes with two hex extensions. This is mainly more used for Mercedes-Benz and BMW. I have them for BMW. All right. What you're taking a look at here is your SAE standard 1/4-inch swivel impact sockets, just as well as you have your 3/8 standard SAE swivel impacts. This is your 1/2-inch drive swivel impacts. So in yesterday's video, how I was talking about, when looking to make certain particular purchases, you don't want to directly jump to a 1/2-inch set. If anything, depending upon what type of work that you are doing, you want to start off with a 3/8 drive set or a 1/4-inch and then make your way up. You don't want to work your way, backwards, because these particular two sets, which is the metric and the ASAE standard, these two sets are very expensive. Both of these sets is only 14 sockets, so you're paying roughly, about $1,000, if not slightly over $1,000, just for these two particular sets. Right here, what you're taking a look at is the 3/8 drive, all right, swivel impact sockets. In yesterday's video, I did demonstrate to show a Sunex set that provided more sockets without absolutely no skips. So this is another thing that you will want to take notice to when making certain particular purchases. Once again, everything that you see enlisted at the top of the tool cart is, all Snap-on, but it's not about the Snap-on brand. I'm just using, some of my equipment just to give a visual and an understanding. All right. There's many other different options that are out there. All right. In yesterday's video, I did point out, the 1/4-inch swivel impacts. What you're taking a look at right here is two Snap-on. This is a 10mm and 11mm. These are extra long hose clamp sockets. Okay, so these would be considered, like specialty sockets because they're not, of your normal standard size. These are extra long sockets. What you're taking a look at right here are what you call flare nut sockets. All right, this is the metric and ASCE standard. This is another very expensive set. All right. In certain instances, people use crow's foot, which I also have. I'll get those out so that you can get an understanding to what the crow's foot look like also, because they're not sockets, but they're specialty wrenches. All right. Another specialty socket would be considered, which you're taking a look at back here, is swivel impact socket extensions. All right. These are 12 point. You also can get these in 6 point. All right. Um, I don't just have this set, in Snap-on. I also have a Stillman Pro set. I actually used to have two of them in metric and ASAE standard. I discarded the ASAE set in a tool giveaway to a good gentleman, on a heavy wrenches live stream. All right. I still have the metric set because the metric set provides all the other particular sizes that I need that Snap-on does not provide in a particular set like this. These sets are very expensive. Testically compared to the Stillman Pro set, this set right here runs a little bit about $400, a little bit over $400, compared to a Stillman Pro set that's underneath the price tag of maybe about $150 now. Back when I got them, I can't really remember what I paid for both sets because I didn't buy them individually, but just to give you an idea, just as well as these swivel impact extensions also come in e-torques just as well. So if you don't understand what e-torques are, right, up here is what your e-torques would look like. These are what is called inverted e-torques. Okay, this is another Snap-on set. All right, which is a 13-piece set. These are also specialty sockets, just as well as a set that you see down here. Okay, this is what is called a pipe plug socket. All right, you have your female and male, okay, adapters and plugs. So some of these sets are kind of expensive. I did go off to demonstrate, what Bogo deals were. All right. So these down here would be your SAE hex bit socket set, just as well as your metric. So when you are on a tool truck and things like that, like I was stating in the last particular video, in most cases, what you want to do is find Bogo deals, especially when it comes to sets like these. All right. You don't really want to buy these sets individually because you will pay, that $1,000 price tag and premium on sets like these, just as well, is some of the other universal swivel impacts. You can get the 1/4 inch and metric and ASAE standard together, just as well as the 3/8 drive and the 1/2 inch drive. All right, because just alone between these flare nut sockets, okay, and just these two sets is roughly over $2,000. Just these three sets right there alone. All right, so things can get very expensive. All right, what you're looking at up here is your bull hex sockets, okay, which are SAE standard. They also have them in metric. All right, you have different measurements, just as well as different sets that provide absolutely more sockets. Back down here, what you're taking a look at is your Torque Plus. All right, I believe this is a 13-piece set. There's other alternatives to basically purchasing sets like this. There's other brands out there, that distribute them. This is another set that's very expensive. Okay, this set basically runs in the price range of $400. All right, for just a few sockets. So this is what I was trying to explain in yesterday's video. Depending upon your budget, or you're coming out of tech school and how they give you a student account or a tool account, whatever, and they give you a certain minimum to spend. And my suggestion, I would lean more in the direction of the Bogo deals. All right, over here, what you're looking at is your regular chrome universals. Okay, these are enable you to get on awkward positions. All right, in order to get in tight places What you're taking a look at here is your oil filter socket set. All right, this is snap-on, as you can see, but there's other alternatives. You don't necessarily have to have a set like this, especially when it comes to certain particular sockets, because you may not always be able to get them in. So I will later on in the video show you another set, which is another good option that's made by the Laos brand. All right, what you're looking at right here is your 1/4 inch, all right, universals. You can get these in other brands. You know, this is another set that's highly expensive, especially in the 1/4 inch drive. So when you start moving into the 3/8 drive and 1/2 inch drive, you know, some of these sets can become very expensive. This is another set that runs in the premium of $400 and better. In yesterday's video, I did demonstrate to show the higher sizes in metric, which are axle nut sockets. So, you know, axle nut sockets is not used daily depending upon what type of work that you do, but these sockets would be considered your specialty sockets in the automotive field. When it comes to heavy diesel mechanics and heavy equipment mechanics, I believe that these particular size measurements are more common, you know, in their line of field. So it's all according to, you know, what type of work that you're looking to get into when it comes to repair and service technicians, whether it's the automotive service trade, heavy equipment, or diesel mechanics. All right. What you're taking a look at here is your SAE standard flip nut socket set, all right, which actually comes with an extension. All right, this is mainly more if you are working on wheels or you work in like a tire shop and things like that. This gives you access. Instead of having to use multiple different sockets, you can just take a socket and flip it, and you know it has 2 measurements for each side. Just as well is what I was demonstrating over here when it comes to the 1/4 inch flip sockets, which are 12 point. Okay, so you can see, so you can mainly more use these here with your hex adapters, like on your cordless impacts and things like that. When it comes to your flare nut sockets, you would never use particular sockets like this on an impact wrench. All right, in most cases, and most of the majority of the time, you will be using sockets like these on aluminum lines. All right. Just as well as sockets like these, you know, you would not technically use no chrome on impacts. You would use a ratchet when it comes to particular sockets like this. Over here, what you're taking a look at is your SAE standard and metric low profile sockets. Okay, you would mainly more use these commonly in enclosed type areas, okay, rather than using a standard size socket or a semi deep or deep, okay, where it enables you to be able to get in a certain particular area, or you may be able to get the socket on, but with the socket and the ratchet, sometimes it can become a problem. This is why I have different sets like what I was showing in the last previous video when it came to what is that, the Astro pneumatic nano impact socket. So just to give you, you know, a quick look at that real quick. All right, so you know your nanos right here, these would mainly more be considered as more specialty sockets rather than your normal everyday use, depending upon what type of work that you do. You're not just able to get a ratchet on, but you can also use like a flex head ratchet and wrench or a combination wrench. All right, when it comes to these particular sockets, in order to get you in an enclosed tight area in a tight space. All right, when first starting off, you may not necessarily need sets like these. These sets right here are more or less inexpensive technically compared to everything that, you know, you see at the top of the tool cart at the prior moment. All right, but there will be some things, you know, that will be required of you depending upon what type of work that you do. All right, and depending upon what type of shop that you may work in, and if, you know, if you're in a dealership, they may provide certain particular shop equipment to you. If you work in an independent shop, there may be some things that may be required of you. All right, so we'll get into that in just a second, and I'll point out some of the things that in my suggestion that you should lean in the direction of first. All right, so with everything that you see sitting at the top of the tool cart, when first coming into the field, a good 95% of everything that you see at the top of the tool cart will not be things that you will need immediately coming into the trade, but the two things that I would suggest that is at the top, or 2 to 3 things that is at the top of the tool cart at the prior moment that I suggest that you focused on first is things like either your 1/4 inch swivel impacts or your 3/8 drive swivel impacts. Okay, then I would say, go over here to a set like this, all right, which is your adapter set, which ranges from 1/4 inch 3/8 drive all the way up to 1/2 inch drive. All right, and then they give you, different measurements: 1/2 inch drive to 3/8 drive, 1/4 inch drive to 3/8 drive, and so on and so forth. You will basically get the idea. Just as well as if you're coming in and you're just starting off, more than likely you'll be doing oil changes and tire rotations, probably wheel balancing, coolant flushes and things like that. So it would be good, to have a set like this. Like I was stating, that they don't just provide it in standard, but they provide it in metric just as well. Another thing to point out is that some of these sockets have a thick wall. There's a difference because there's 6 points and 12 points, and sometimes it's good to have a thin wall set also, because it may be in an instance at a time where that the walls may be too thick to get in. So it would be good to actually have a thin wall set, side by side as a backup and another alternative. All right. So let's move along. All right, another quick line of a specialty socket is something that you would see like this. All right, if you work in like a tire repair shop. All right, this is made by Stillman Pro. This is a 5-piece wheel lock removal kit. All right, just to give you a quick part number. All right, and this is made in Taiwan. In the past, I have thrown a set like this, just as well as another Stillman wheel lock removal special kit in past videos. I actually don't have the other kit here with me at the prior moment to give you a visual, but just to give you, a little insight to what some of these sockets look like just as well. Let's get it. All right, so as you can see, these are special wheel lock sockets. Okay, and if you can take notice, they're made a certain particular way. All right, which are 1/2 inch drive. All right, if the camera is focusing well enough, and it comes with its punch. All right, sometimes you have to get in. All right, use a tap. You can use like combination open end wrench and things like that, and you can get a socket, okay, over these particular ends, to remove something. So now I'm going to get into the tool chest and get out quite a few things, and we're going to take a look at that. Let's dive right in. Okay, when I was talking about and showing the swivel impacts, another thing that I forgot to mention is that once again, those sets come in shallow, semi-deep, and deeps. All right, so what you're taking a look at here is the metric set in deep. What you're taking a look at here is what is called your triple squares. Okay, these are your more bigger measurements and things like that. So once again, sets like these, depending upon what type of work and what type of experience you may have, these are not necessary items that you would need, right away coming into the field. But just to give you an idea of what some of these things are, just as well as back here is your flare nut socket sets, which is metric here and ASAE standard. So this goes along with the flare nut sockets that I was actually showing you, that would be applied with extensions and ratchets, just as well as these can be applied with a ratchet or a breaker bar. Okay, these are 3/8 drive, as you can see here. All right. So, moving along into the tool chest itself, just to give you an idea of, what some specialty sockets look like. All right. Right here, what you're looking at is a long chamber spark plug socket right here. In certain cases, depending upon what you work on, at times, size and extra long measurements like this will be required. All right. What you're taking a look at here is a U-joint socket. Okay. This is a 12 point, as you're seeing. This is also snap-on. All right. What you're taking a look at here is an oxygen sensor wrench socket. Okay. This falls in the same category as your flare nut sockets, as you are taking a look at up here. I mean, your crow's foot and your flare nuts sockets. Excuse me, pardon me. All right. Down here is a head bolt socket. All right. This is 3/8 drive. This is also snap-on. This is used for Hondas right here. Okay. So let me see something. Get this in here. Okay. As you can see, there's different type of sockets, which is also snap-on, where you see special slotted just as well is over here. All right. That's a tie rod socket right there. Then you have your magnetic sockets. All right. Just as well as you also have magnetic adapters. These are all snap-on. All right. You have chrome universal swivels. All right. Just as well as impact. This is also snap-on right here. Okay. What you're taking a look at here are your swivel spark plug sockets, which are also snap-on. Have two of them laying there. What else is some specialty sockets for you? Oh, just as well as I showed, you know, chrome Torx. You also have if I can get it out. You also have impact graded Torx. All right. So another thing, you know, to take notice, because you don't want to use chrome on impacts, you use impact on impact wrenches. Okay, whether pneumatic or cordless. All right. Down here, what you're taking a look at is a snap-on long, extra long Torx. Right. These are also specialty. There's other you know, options out there with many other different brands. Like, you know, I'm showing a lot of different snap-on equipment, but it's not technically all about snap-on equipment. Once again, you get the best bang for your buck when first starting off. You may not necessarily have a lot of money, you know, to invest in high quality equipment like this, because everybody's financial situations is different. But as you go along, you will upgrade your equipment and things like that. All right. You will get to it. Nothing is technically not out of your means. All right. A socket like this is also a specialty socket. This is a wheel lock removal socket right here. Okay. As you can take notice towards the inside how it has a threaded groove. All right. But this is 1/2-inch drive. All right. A little earlier on in the video, I did show a snap-on set of oil filter sockets. Okay, this is the alternative that I was talking about, which is a loud set. As you can see, the part number right here. All right, this is a least inexpensive set, but this set is a very, very good set. This is a set that I use very commonly right here. Snap-on does provide this set, you know, on their Snap-on truck just as well as it's warranted, but you could pick up Lyle's products, you know, in a lot of different retailers and things like that. So in my suggestion, I would lean in the direction of a set like this. You can get it a whole lot much more cheap and affordable testically compared to the snap-on set that I was showing you earlier. Okay, in the snap-on set that I was